Definitely.
Okay.
Well, anybody say?
Says from now on, anything I say can be used against me.
Well, we've been using everything you've said against you, Ron.
You
Oh, yeah.
remember who you asked about a particular photographer? Do you remember what bands he photographed?
Henry, are you talking about Henry?
Yeah,
An old friend of mine. He did the cover for Crosby, Stills and Nash's first album.
he,
Uh,
they showed
yeah,
Bill Crosby, Stills and Nash photographers, so he may have been.
Yeah,
oh, he's been around for a long time.
I think most of the people that were on this have been around for a long time.
Well, he's also a musician.
Yeah.
He plays the banjo and.
I don't know. I think he probably was on because they did some stuff on Crosby, Stills. But I mean, so far, I think there's 5 episodes. I got them all recorded.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you can get them, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's just about time to start. We'll let people, we'll start at 7. Hi, Keith. Welcome.
Hey, Dan. How are you?
Excellent.
By the way, I want to introduce my wife to you all. There's Michelle. She's our newest member, paid member.
Oh,
Everybody, nice to be here.
Welcome.
Where is she, Dan? We don't see her.
I'm right here.
Where?
You might have to slide your frame over.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Hi,
Hi, Michelle.
Is she a relative?
Marion.
She's related.
Yeah.
She's the cool cats.
One of us has to be.
Yep.
She just retired as a school teacher, so this will be the first year kids don't make meowing sounds at her.
Oh, boy.
Actually,
Oh,
Lloyd,
there you
I
are,
want
Michelle. I just saw you catty cornered to Dan.
to.
Oh,
Oh, this year, being a retired school teacher is probably the best kind of school teacher you can be, given the situation.
yeah, it's definitely been tough the last year and a half.
What a challenge.
It's been a challenge, but I learned a lot.
And thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
And my
Yeah.
daughter's a teacher. She starts tomorrow.
Oh, what grade?
4th grade. She's at SOCES.
Oh,
Oh, our older daughter went there. That's a
Yeah.
great school.
And my wife is a retired administrator.
From
LA.
what school?
A bunch. She was at Chatsworth. She was at Sutter Middle School. She was an administrator when the budgets were in trouble and she was getting let go and rehired every year for about 4 years. Then she
I remember.
finally had enough and said, I'm retiring.
Okay, folks, it's 7 o'clock. And so we're going to start the meeting. And
I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody at this point, I think.
okay,
So don't take it personally.
am I still mute?
Yeah, I haven't muted yet, but I will.
Okay. Oh, I see. You're going around and just unmute. Okay. So first of all, I want to say welcome to all of you. It's great to see you, and or not see you, as the case might be. Certainly to hear you, and I have a few announcements I'd like to make. One that we talked about already a little bit, but the Getty Museum has a figure to ground exhibit of Mario Giacomelli's photography. Sorry, Mario, about the pronunciation. In addition, well, his photography is about primarily the small towns of his country, Italy, and he photographed a lot of the ecology and was very concerned about the change from doing sustainable agriculture that had been done for centuries there to the use of fertilizers and mechanization and things like that, and the effect that it was having on the land and on the people. And so he shot a lot of images that had to do with that. And it's a very stark work. And it's also very, very good. In addition, there were exhibits of landscapes that had been inspired by his work by other people, and there's a section of protest photography or photography of protests. There is also one that's really cool called Photo Flux that is mostly by young people of color and looking at their world or our world. You know, it's all our world, but so much of it is being photographed or had been photographed by people not of color and not of necessarily low income and things like that, and cameras being way more accessible. This person who put the exhibit together paid a lot of attention to getting new people with different points of view and like that. So it's very cool. The Garden of the Gods event that we held in July was, I just have to say, it was a blast. Without using dynamite, we shot, talked, walked, and later had most of us had a really nice deli lunch. And the next event is going to be a week from Saturday at the Santa Monica Pier. We're going to be meeting at 4 o'clock, and we can spend as long as we'd like to for the evening. It's a great place to take sunsets. It's also a great place as the light changes and the lights of the equipment and things like that, the amusement park come on. It's a great backdrop and a wonderful opportunity for street photography, people photography, that kind of thing. So I encourage you. I will be sending an email in the next couple of days that will include an email address to RSVP. I'd like to know who's planning on coming so that I can look for you. And then I want to make sure I give you my cell phone number because I'm going to be the chaperone. I don't know, whatever you call the Hoopalala Mishabab for the event. That's me, albeit. And so I look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Our user groups are doing well. We're having somewhere between 3 and 10 participants at each meeting. Mark Epstein and I lead the photo finishing user group. It continues to meet on the third Thursday. So next Thursday we'll be having a meeting, and we work on the use of programs like Lightroom and Photoshop and look at different ways to finish things and give advice to each other. Lead each other down the wrong path or whatever, but it's a lot of fun, and it's a great opportunity to learn on the fly as you go. The more you participate in the meeting by sharing your work, the faster you learn. It may be uncomfortable because not all of us are used to using Zoom and all the other stuff, but once you get past that, it's really cool, and it's a great way to learn, and it's also nice to be able to socialize in a very safe way. The other user group that we have meets on the fourth Thursday of the month. It's called Photo Feedback. Sharon and Jack and Terry are involved in leading that group. And I've changed the name a bunch of different times just because I'm a wild and crazy guy. I guess I'm a frustrated marketer. But so we decided that the Photo Feedback, spelled PHEEDBACH, is what we're going to be for a while, and so it meets then. Great interaction, good energy, good learning. We also have the membership roster that if you want to participate, you need to send an email using the website. Just send an email to me, and I will add you to the roster and send you a copy of the roster so you'll get to see the other people that have chosen to participate. It's not something that we're automatically sending everybody's email and city out because we want to respect your privacy. But on the other hand, if you want to be able to get in touch with other people to, go shoot two or three people, to a couple people to get together and go shooting, there we go, with your camera, not gun. And you can do it. And we're including the city that you're closest to so that people can take a look at who might be close by to be able to carpool if that's within your comfort zone. Okay, so we have that going on. And let's see, what else? We've also the board, a little committee within the board got together and tested a way for us to have a Zoom option when we do begin meeting in person. Again, when we can safely do that again, God knows when that's going to be, but when we can, we figured out a way to have a Zoom option so that people could attend the meeting not in person. And like that. So we're doing everything we can to have fun, keep you engaged. And if anybody has any feedback about maybe why they haven't participated in the membership roster, I'm just curious. It seems like we've got about 25% of our group that's like 10 out of 40 that have said okay. But I'm always curious about why somebody maybe wouldn't. Crickets. Okay, so Dan,
Yep.
You get to take it away.
Wow, take it away. So, first of all, welcome back to Keith Skelton, who's going to be our judge again tonight. We're thrilled to have you back, and we're looking forward to going through the images with you. Next month, Nancy Lear will be our judge again. It'll be open assignment, and more to come on that, I'm sure, through Lloyd's emails. And so that's where things are going. So let me just quickly introduce Keith. Again, for those who weren't here, he has photographed just about everything from photojournalism to commercial photography, landscapes, you name it. He has photographed it. He's been a judge with us a number of times, as he has with other camera clubs, and well respected nationally, internationally, exhibited all over the place. So we're thrilled to have Keith. And Keith, you can unmute yourself, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you the floor, and if you have any challenges. Also, I ask everybody to reserve chat until after the judging, so that we are respectful of the judge and totally focused on the judging. So with that, Keith, take it away. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey, Dan. So are you going to present the pictures, or am I?
You are. It's
I am.
easier since you can just.
So I need to allow you to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't sure about that. Let's see, I better make sure everything is off my other screen.
While you're doing that, I just.
Let me, okay. Dropbox. Can you see it?
There we go. Yeah.
All right, cool. So this was the frames. Dan, you might clarify exactly what the assignment was again for me.
Sure.
Framing and.
Yeah, this was frames and frames within frames. So this is all about how something is framed, or using frames within frames to show a subject. And you had a great presentation last month about different ways in which things can be framed. So it's all about framing a subject within the borders of the picture, and then also using maybe frames as part of the subject to frame something else. How did I do?
Okay, so let me just, I mean, these are obviously blind for me and I guess you guys too. So we'll start with this 4 frames. I mean, this seems to fit the bill pretty well. I mean, this photographer, it's not 1 frame, but 4 frames, and they all have a critter in them. An elk, I guess, and some buffalo, and I don't know what these guys are over on the right. And then there's nothing here, which makes it, in many ways, to me, more interesting. So I think these framing photos are pretty well, once you start looking at it, I think you realize you use it quite a bit in your photography in general. You know, it becomes very natural, and since our pictures have a frame around it to begin with, then we start seeing the frames within frame. So this, I think this perfectly fits the bill. Technically, I see, you know, these guys are silhouetted, and they're meant to be silhouetted. You know, it's a simple shot, but you know, I think this really works for what the assignment was about. I don't think, and again, this, can you see my cursor, Dan?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, just, and I think this is perfectly fine. There's nothing in this frame. In fact, it adds interest to this. You know, there's 3 with an animal silhouetted, and then your eye goes to this one. So I think it adds more interest to have this one with no critter in it.
Keith, do you want to give that a score for us?
Oh, I need to score it.
Yeah. Remember, we're doing
Mike?
scores to 10.
Let's say, I think this is like a 7. Now, I think when I enlarge this, the pictures kind of become distorted. Is there a way to,
I think you're seeing it as the image came.
there?
Oh.
Is that better? Or
Yeah.
should I do it full frame? I guess it's the same thing. I mean, this is, I saw this picture when you sent me the files, and it's really striking with this, you know, this crazy abandoned house or barn or whatever it is. And, you know, the fact that our eye is moving all over this image with the light, you know, streaming through the porous roof. And then of course we have frames, number of frames. The first one, of course, is the window frame, which, you know, we see this, then our eye pops over to this open window, and then we see, it gives us a sense of place. I think without this, we would just say, well, this is, you know, a broken down, abandoned building. But once we can see out the frame, it really makes a huge difference, I think, in the photography, where we were looking out, and now we see that this is in some sort of desert environment. Then we have this other frame thing going on. You know, looking through this door, and then it's like it almost looked through another door, and it doesn't necessarily lead our eye anywhere to any focal point, but it does lead our eye more interested generally into the picture. And then these boards down here at the bottom also help our eye go up here into this picture and then turn up like this. So my eye is just kind of, these things come down like this. My eye kind of goes around in a circle. You know, I'm looking here, I see this, and then I come to this window. And so it all comes together really well. The color is on my screen. You know, it's very warm tone. It may be almost a little bit what I would say yellow green. And if that's the intention, that's fine. You might trying one with a white balance tool and maybe see if you can back off in the yellow a little bit, but no big deal. I think it works really well. So this is awesome. I'll give this an 8. So Dan, has everybody seen these already, or is this the first time?
This is the first time everybody's seeing them together.
Okay, good. So this is a really far out picture. I'm not sure exactly what it is, and that's perfectly fine. You know, it's like some sort of reflective cube or something. And we're seeing, you know, these people that are reflected, you know, this might be the same person, or maybe it's the photographer, you know, with their legs and all these, you know, these triangle and shapes. And, you know, it's busy, but it's visually really interesting, I think. And then there's a frame. There's a few frames, triangle frames. You know, this is a frame. This is a frame. I mean, this photographer's got frames going on all over the place. Here, this main triangle here is really the main frame. Pardon the pun. So I think as far as the framing assignment go, this really works, and it's unique that it's not like, you know, a square frame or a circular frame, but it's all these different triangles, and it's very abstract. So I think it's pretty cool. The technique, I'm not sure. It looks like it was like a big enlargement or something. So I think you can improve on your technique a little bit. I'm not, maybe this was an iPhone or a mobile phone. I'm not sure. But at the same time, the technique, you know, gives it a certain painterly quality. So I like this as well. I'm going to give this a 7. Whoa, baby. The Headless Wonder. Well, this has got a couple of visual puns going on it right away. You know, the Headless Wonder is right next to the head. So fantastic black and white an image here. You know, you got some heavy blacks over here, and you know, some good whites. And many times in our black and white photography, not always, but it's sometimes very good. Or the classic way is to have a good black and a good white, to, you know, have that range of contrasting tones. We obviously have these frames going on. My eye first went to this guy, the Headless Wonder, pouring wine into his body. And then over here into the bathroom where it's framed. So this is I think this is excellent image, because it's storytelling. Beside the you know, having the whole frame thing going on, you know, the Headless Wonder, and then of course the bathroom. So a lot of good visual puns going on here. I'll give this one a 9. Nice and sharp, you know. There's some other funky things, you know. I mean, it's okay. The trash can, there's some other stuff over here. No matter. The picture works, I think. So we have this castle. someplace. Not in California, I don't think. And the photographer's shown us that this doorway is a frame, and you look down this road and through the door, and then you see a bicyclist coming this way. So I think the frame works really well here for our purposes. I wonder if we, can I do this? I can do it. I wonder if the picture isn't more just in here rather than this sky and the top of this. This is kind of distracting because it's a bright area and our eye automatically goes to the bright area. So I see that as a kind of competing with this. I don't think you need this in the top to say that it's an old castle or something. I think you can, if you have your picture, more tight in here without the sky. As soon as we, as soon as we have a sky or sometimes on a horizon, it gives us a sense of place. And that's sometimes good and sometimes not. But as soon as sometimes you crop in on stuff, then you lose that sometimes the sense of place, but then your eye will go right through this picture. So I'll give this one a 6, I think. We got some, it's wide angle, awesome perspective. It looks like the camera is fairly low to the ground. You guys always think about when your point of view is really important. We tend to take pictures just standing there with the camera right at our eye level. But don't forget to get low, get high, whatever, so we can change the point of view. So to me, this looks like it's a fairly low angle, like the photographers maybe on their, on their knees or something like that. They could have even gotten maybe lower, and the camera could have been literally on the ground with the same sort of impact. We definitely have the frame thing going on. Our eye just bullseyes right to this frame of this person with their arms in the air, and it's awesome architecture. These beams, you got a repeating patterns over here. You got repeating pattern, repeating. So everything you got working for you, the lines, the patterns, is just like bullseyed right into the center of this. So your composition is really good here, I think. I think it's nice if it's black and white too. Your technique is pretty good. It seems a little bit grainy, but that's okay. It's it's a black and white, and I think it doesn't harm this picture at all. So I think I want to get, as far as our frame goes, assignment, and the other things we look at in our photography, leading lines and repeating patterns, etc. I'm going to give this one an 8. This is a nice photo. I'm thinking it's like, I don't know where, India maybe. And there are these beautiful doorways with this, these, I don't know what you call these, frames around the doors. It's really a nice scene. And because of these doorways, it makes this look all around the picture. Our eye explores this whole image, and mainly it's sort of a monochromatic picture, except for this boat right through this door frame. So, that's I think really successful. We got a pigeon over here, no big deal. It's part of the photo. Um, it feels a little, I don't know, I can't crop this thing and I hate to do it. That's too much, but it feels like maybe I don't need some of this up here. It's a little distracting. I mean, this is where all the action is, right in here. These beautiful doorways, and you see out in the distance, and you have a really a good sense of place. And I love the color. It's real muted. You know, it's not like a super saturated or anything, but the red in your eye, just, you know, bullseyes to the red. You might know this, that in color, generally reds come forward visually and blues recede. It's you know, just how our eyes see color. And you can use that in composition in your photography, because this is bullseyes. So anyway, I think this is really nice. Maybe, again, I'm not sure what, I don't want to try to retake the picture for you. I mean, it's a fabulous picture. I'll give this an 8. Well, this is spacey. It's obviously a composite of, you know, these graphic boxes and floating around the moon. I'm not sure what the intention is, and it doesn't matter really. It just, maybe there is no intention needed. These boxes are spinning around the moon, except for this one seems to be crash landed in the moon. So maybe, you know, if you're staying with this theme, maybe you want to separate this one too from the moon. I don't know. As far as framing goes, in a sense, these boxes are a framing device for the moon. I don't think it's a really strong way of doing that. You know, maybe if the moon is, I mean, looking through trees or something like that, I don't know. But whoever's doing this, I like that you're thinking and, you know, taking visual risk and stuff. I'll give this one a 6. This photographer is ready to get crushed by this rock as it falls on him. Got a frame going here for sure. And that meets the goal pretty much. Your technique, you see this purple, these are like chromatic aberrations. If you're using, I don't know if you're using Photoshop or Lightroom or maybe none, but there's an easy way to fix this. And this is just what happens to certain lenses when, like a tree against a bright sky, it's just our lenses aren't always perfect. And so you get these violet aberrations, you know, as far as your technique goes. We have this frame, you know, it creates the positive space almost becomes a negative space. So you have this shape of around this guy taking the photograph. I guess I would have been nice if somehow it'd be nice to, if you maybe have moved over it a little bit, so the rock sort of blocked this upper area, you know, so he's just in a circle. And I'd also like to see it darker. You know, we don't necessarily need to see all the detail in these rocks. They're not that attractive. You could bring it down a little bit, the shadow areas, or vignette the whole thing some, not a lot, so it doesn't look stupid. Exposure is good here, but I think these rocks around here could be vignetted or just brought down a little bit. I'll give this one a 6. This is, we see these, some sort of agave, I think, all over our landscape in California. This photographer has some, nice, pretty nice shapes going on here. And the black and white accentuates those shapes, the whites that are circling this darker area. We have a frame, but I don't really see any real center of interest. I want to look through here, but when I look through here, there's not much to see. I need to see something in here, like a bug or I don't know what, something that, and these are in focus, and that's fine. But if you want this to frame something, I think the focus should be inside the frame, so your eye will go into the frame. And again, I don't see a. It's a graphic picture, but as far as framing, I need a center interest. So I'm going to go with 6 on this too. This is a nice photograph. It's very, what do I want to say? The color, first of all, the color, we see this turquoise and it recedes, like I just said, the turquoise kind of recedes visually, and then looking through the slot, I guess it's a swimming pool, and the warm light on this child looking through her eye just beelines right for this. So as far as the framing, the use of this little frame is very successful, I think. And these patterns, this is all these different squares are even, except for this slot where we see the warm tones looking back at us. I guess this must be the fingers or something. So I think this is really well seen. You didn't crop it. You didn't like crop this and make it in the middle. It's off to the left. We've got this rule of thirds things going on here where the frame of the girl is in the upper third and over to the left third. The center line is right here. The center line is kind of like right here. So that, compositionally, this photographer's really got it going, I think. It's a little grainy, no big deal. I'm not sure what your technique was, but it's still a nice photograph. This top area is a little bright. You might consider, if you know how to gradate that a little bit, just slightly darker. But it's not a huge deal. I think I need to go with 9 on this. Whoa. This is very striking. Obviously some art. I think I've seen this in another picture someplace. I don't know where it is, but there's some art display, I'm guessing. We get these like gigantic legs with these fishnet and red high heels hanging out this window. It's very eye-grabbing. The framing part, granted, the legs are coming out of a frame, but we're not really using a frame to move our eye into the picture. In other words, if, I don't know, photographer's in this window here, using the window to look out maybe, or something like that. So it's a striking photo, but just, I don't, if we need something here to meet the assignment with the framing going, I think. So I'm gonna go on 7 on this. Wow, it's a beautiful shot. So somewhere in California, I'm presuming. So this is like perfect framing, really. This oval frame looking out. It's dark. These things that are hanging here, or whatever it is, rocks. Nice black all around, and our eye, you know, jettisons out into the sea, and you know, this beautiful landscape and the beautiful colors and everything. So this is a nice, pretty successful picture. Be nice if something a little more was going on out here. I don't know, a bigger wave, or you know, Jaws, or I don't know, a boat, something, a little bit more interest, but it's a landscape. You know, fishermen, I don't know. It's obviously wasn't there, so you didn't see it, but something that add a little bit more interest to the photo. But it's very successful, I think, as far as the framing business goes. These sort of dark clouds over here. Maybe this is Hawaii, I don't know. I'll go with 8 on this. So we have a house, like an abandoned house in the country someplace. And we have windows and doors. But again, similar to that one of the legs, the photographer really isn't using anything to frame this house. It's got like kind of a straight shot over the fence. Maybe if the photographer got lower and shot through the fence, so the barbed wire was, you know, in the foreground, creating a frame, more of a frame around it, and more depth to lead our eye into this house. So I'm going to go with 6 on this. This is nice. An architectural shot. You know, it's all very squared off for the most part. Obviously, the arch leads our eye right into this chapel, I guess it is. So as far as the framing assignment, I think it works really well. We like to, this comes from my Brooks training. When we see architecture, we like to keep our vertical straight and for whatnot. And a lot of that's achieved just by raising or lowering the camera or tilting it. And then everything's pretty straight. It's not like falling over. I think the lens, it's kind of, the lens is a little goofy here. That's just your lens. A nice contrast, you know, nice bright lights here. And then you got some good blacks down here. So it's nice, a nice black and white rendition of this chapel. So I'm gonna go with 8 on this as well. This is another one. It's this fantastic barn, but you know, with all these great signs all over it. But it's similar to that other house, and maybe even the leg shot, where there's, as far as creating a frame, there is really none here. It's just pretty much a straight shot of this place with all these old oil signs. You know, again, if maybe, I don't know, if there was something in the foreground where you could shoot through it, or even if it was like you're down in the daisies, and I don't know, something to create some more depth rather than just, here's this thing, this barn, you know, it's about, you know, 50 feet away and it's pretty much eye level. You know, get low or something, use something in the foreground to create some more visual interest. So I'm going with 6s on this one too. I'm doing a series called Room with a View. And when I travel and whatnot, I create photographs looking out of windows. I think that's kind of where I came up with the idea for this assignment. You visit, this looks like this person's visiting someplace, traveling somewhere. And they looked out the window and this is what they saw. This beautiful pastoral scenery, and it's very literal, but we get us, because this photographer has shown us the frame, it gives us a sense of where they are, literally where they are. They're in this room looking outward. And so it helps the overall feeling of place. The photographer, William Albert Allard used to do, or not Allard, I mean, I'll think of the guy. He's used pictures looking out of windows a lot and giving a sense of place. If the photographer would have just gotten close to the window or opened the window and took a shot of the scenery, it'd just be a totally different feeling than what this has. So this has a nice feeling, I think, a lot. And the color, I think the color's fine, maybe a little bit saturated, but it's okay. I think this is, I don't know what this flag is, doesn't matter. And then I even like these two people that are they're kind of not totally in the picture and they're sort of a little bit out of the frame. So even though they're small, they add a little bit of attention, I think, to the photograph. Because you have this fence that goes along and then these people, and well, let's see, maybe the photographer didn't see this. I definitely see it. And I don't think it's, it might have been an accident, maybe not, but it's okay. There's another person here. It doesn't bother me either. It's kind of not in the picture or not out of the picture. So I'm gonna go with 8 on this one. Oh, this is a nice photograph. Whoa, this is really nice. I don't know, Nepal maybe, I don't know. Or Cambodia, someplace. Really a nice feeling. These 4 windows and these 2 ladies. I think they might know their pictures being taken. I don't know, it doesn't matter, but they have nice expressions. And then they have these, I don't know what's on their cheeks. These patches on their cheeks. Not sure what that's all about. And then this person's like looking at some, through this window, looking at some sort of papers. And even though we can't quite see this person, they look like they're looking at some papers too. So we have all these pictures within a picture. This is one picture, this is another picture, this is another picture, this is a small picture, and then there's this one large picture that contains all these other pictures. So in that respect, I think it's really successful. What I would consider, this is your sky up here, is a little funky, I don't know. And then we have this over here on the far right. All your corners and everything are important in your shots. I don't think we need to necessarily see the top of the door. I think you could crop right along here and then down here, crop that off and just, straight along here. And we still get the effect that she's out of a door. I wouldn't crop off this upper class. That's a nice element. But I think that would make it a more dynamic picture just to you know, come into this thing a little bit more. This is like a picture I kind of wish I could have taken. I think I'm gonna go with 10 on this. How's that? It's another abstract with, it reminds me of the other one with all the triangles and colors. It's one of these, there's not necessarily a center of interest, but we do have kind of a frame, this circular thing, framing all this other stuff. Each one of these little squares, they're kind of like a picture, kind of like frames. I mean, this one looks like some little guy. This looks like clouds and water. I don't know about this one. This looks like a car. So, you know, there are frames within frames of this. It's pretty unique, I think. I can see a guy here. I don't know if that's real or just I'm, you know, imagining it. A little bit of a guy. You know, this if you can ever include symbolism in your photographs, we're all connected by certain symbols in our lives. And the obvious symbol is a cross. That's the one we all, you know, whether you're religious or not. I mean, just like it just beelines to you. But there's all kinds of other symbols. And when I see this, and I don't think it's really a guy, but it kind of looks like a guy. And to me, it kind of looks like a Christ type guy. Maybe I'm losing it, but sometimes these little symbols, they don't have to be totally literal, but since they're common to almost everyone in our society, it can strengthen your photography. Oh, did I just say anything about this one? 7. It's another really nice black and white shot. Rather than looking out the window, we're seeing the reflections on the window from this harbor. And so in that respect, it's really successful. We got a picture here, and a picture here of some goofy graffiti. I think this is really pretty successful. Sometimes when you have white areas on the edge of your pictures, it makes it, there's nothing wrong with it, but makes it harder sometimes because our eye goes to the white area just naturally. So imagine if this was black or dark. It's okay, but our eye tends to go down here and over here where it really wants to go in here. But as far as your framing goes, I think you did really well. So I'll go with 7 on this. This is kind of like that other picture of the broken down place. You know, photographers using this broken down wall or doors or whatever it is to lead our eye out into the desert. So it really gives us a sense of place a lot. And it looks like there's some, I'm curious where this is, but it looks like there's some strap that's kind of trying to, and this C-clamp that's trying to hold the place together. You don't want it to fall on your head. As far as your, I mean, I think the framing works good. I mean, our eye goes through here, so we got a lot of framing going on, and I think you're successful in that respect. Consider, you know, your horizon. Even if you are standing straight, consider leveling this horizon. It looks like it's going uphill, and maybe it is. I don't know. You can take a look at it. If it doesn't look right, then, you know, stay with this. But for the viewer like me that I've never been here, it looks just like the horizon is slightly crooked. I'm not sure. But this is straight here, and these are straight. So maybe it is. Maybe it's just looking up a hill. It's a little bright here. Maybe a little vignetting. Got some good detail over here. Go Broncos over here. 7. I think that the photographer has achieved the purpose here of framing, using frames. You know, we got multiple frames going on here. You know, first of all, the metal frame, and then the terracotta frame or whatever it is, and then this frame, and then these 3 frames. You know, so it's definitely using frames to look out to this fountain. It's not the most interesting fountain in the world, but your eye definitely beelines right through here. So compositionally, I think it really worked well. Consider, you know, these patio, it's a little kitty whomper. And consider straightening this thing out a little bit. Feels like it's leaning to the left a little bit. Maybe like this, maybe level this, and maybe just help it a little bit. So if you, in architecture, if you want all these things to be, our eyes to, you know, it should be kind of as straight as you can get, I think. At least that's the way I was trained. 7. We have a frame here, but I don't know, in my mind, I don't know if the frame, it's just a picture of a window. And we can see this, but this chair is really the subject. You know, this old chair where you wonder who might have sat there once or whatever. This is the center of interest, I think, this chair. And then there is the window. And yes, there is a frame, but like some of the others, I don't think the photographer is using a frame to engage you more into the picture. You know, maybe if there was some other window you could have shot through, or even gotten closer and use this lattice as a frame, looking at the window, or something like that. The black and white is, it looks like there's been a lot of noise reduction or something. It's hard to tell. It's kind of soft and sort of looks like it's falling apart a little bit. Sometimes when if you have a picture like this, you can actually, you know, add some noise or add some grain to it to give a little bit more texture, because it's kind of mushy. So I'll go with 6 on this. This is nice. Maybe it's the same photographer as the train picture. So we got this, you know, this is working, nice black and white, these windows. But really great is the fact that we have this reflection of this little girl peering out this window. I think without that, it wouldn't be nearly as strong. Just, it adds, this is a little picture right here. A picture within a picture. So that totally helps your composition and the visual interest for, the viewer. We go this dark area, we beeline right up here, see this little girl. It's the tone, she's not too bright, tonal wise, so the black and white is pretty good. And it's a little bright down here. I don't know exactly what we do about that. I can't move this picture, but I don't know. Maybe, maybe it could be, maybe you can move in it a little bit to eliminate this white area here and this white area here, I mean, I don't even think you need this window on the left. I think you could pretty much go down here like this. This is your picture right in here, right? Try that. I'll go 9 on this. This is nice. This is working. It's using your frame to engage the viewer. The frame is these cool doors. They're really interesting within themselves. It's almost like the frame is the picture itself. But then we look into this picture and there's some other things going on in here. These chairs. It'd be nice if there was a person in here or something. I don't know what this last thing is here, but it does add some visual interest. Again, like the other one, I consider this highlight down here is a little annoying because that's where our eye wants to go to. But maybe you just want to, crop this in just a little bit, tighten it up a little bit. Good color. Technique looks pretty good. I'll go an 8 on this. Whoa. This is pretty cool. It's very, it's all about the grain, right? And the color, and very simple in many ways. With the school bus driving into the tunnel, these fantastic yellow lights that are leading our eye right down to wherever the school bus is taking those children into the tunnel. And then we have this fantastic tunnel that circles. So our eye is like going over here and then up and over here, and it just goes around and around. And then you just want, because our eye wants to go down into this tunnel. So on the fact you got your bus over to the right and using your rule of thirds, rather than this being in the center or whatever, it's over to the right, adds more attention to the picture, and the much better composition. The fact that it's all grainy and stuff, I mean, I think that's the purpose of this. So I think it's pretty cool. I don't even, this isn't bad. This is being too light or anything. I think it's okay. Because we can actually see, the shapes of the tunnel, and then it falls off. The light falls off quickly into this saturated bus. Stop when red lights flash. I'll go 9 on this. I like it. Now there are some frames. Well, this is pretty cool. It's very different, unique. I'm thinking this is Photoshop. It has to be. Otherwise, they're gigantic frames. And so this artist has put these pictures, I'm guessing pictures of these frames, and compose them into this tunnel on this bridge. And so it becomes a kind of an eye teaser, I think, in many ways. Is it real or not real? I don't think it's real. It doesn't matter. It catches your eye. And then this painting goes from here to here to here. So I'm not sure what's up with that. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's kind of tricks your eye a little bit. So it's kind of like all this out here, and it's, you know, very realistic, but then this is not so realistic. And so it's a different take on our frame, you know, literally a frame, but all these frames are pictures. And this one is like the same picture, kind of in 3 frames. And then of course they're framed by this covered bridge. This is kind of cool. I'll go with 8 on this. There we go. So this photographer, rather than just taking a picture of this place in the tropics, wherever it is, of the rooms, instead used this branch to make it much more interesting. If this was just these by themselves, it wouldn't be so interesting. But the fact the photographer, you know, shot through this branch, this tree, and suddenly our eye goes, this photographer tells us, this is what I want you to look at, right? These things right through here. So the framing is really done well, I think, in this case. I don't know what this says here. Can't quite read it. Doesn't matter. Somebody carved something in here. So I think it's pretty well balanced. You might look at black and white, maybe, I don't know. It might make it, you know, give a different kind of interest to it, because all this blue going on in here. So I'll go, I guess I have to go with 8 on this. So this is one of these cases, you know, it's like posterized. This technique used to be real popular in the 70s, where you had, you know, just pure black and pure white, it's pure graphics to create a almost like line art, you know. There's no midtones in here at all. And we have something going on here, and then this structure framing this looks like a street light. I think you're framing this, and the technique's fine, but maybe, I don't know if there was a place to move, maybe. So maybe this was a little bit further over this way. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. It's a very graphic picture, and very unique, I think. This over here, this is what I would call a tangent. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but sometimes things, they're either in the picture or not in the picture. So I either want to see the white go all the way around this, or maybe crop it off a little bit more. But it's kind of feels, there's some tension here. It's either in or out. In this case, it's neither. It's so, if there's white around the edge, or maybe if you just cropped it a little bit more to put more black off the frame. I'll go with 7 on this. Working for you again here. Looks like the New York subway, shooting through, I don't know what, but you've got frames. The other side of the train station, I don't know what it is, but we got 3 pictures going on here, at least 4 maybe. There's a picture over here, got this picture and this picture, and then the picture in its entirety. This is the most interesting, I think, over here picture, as far as the interaction of this couple. They obviously know each other, I think. This is a guy's a stranger and this lady is looking into the distance. I would consider bringing your blacks down a little bit on this, you know, this rather than seeing all this. I think if you made this a little darker, so we didn't see all this, you know, this grainy stuff and pixels and stuff. Because this could go darker anyway, because this is already a little bit light, not much, maybe a half a stop. But I think all this stuff around the edges could go much darker. And so our eye would beeline more to these lighter areas on the subway station. I go 7 on this. Rock on. So this is a frame, right? We got this band playing. There's a frame. Looks like this photographer is using maybe a, I don't know, 100mm lens or an 85 or something like that. A little bit of a telephoto because it compresses the space. Remember that our longer lenses bring things closer together, like compress space. If this photographer is using a 24mm, then this band would be way off in the distance, right? So that's a good choice of lens here. You know, the band's framed on this stage. So as far as framing goes, it's pretty good. These guys are looking at the band. This lady is looking at the photographer. Maybe. This guy got a Stratocaster. This guy's got a Rickenbacker. That's another Strat. So I think this works pretty well. As far as the, you know, the squares lead our eye into the picture. It's not just a picture of the band. There's more stuff going on here. You know, we get a sense of the bar and all the rest of it. There's something funky going on here. Technically, I don't know what it is. It's got some, looks like maybe some burning or dodging. Got a little funky right there. It was pretty good. I'll go 7. Whoa. This is pretty cool. Very well executed. You know, it's just, I think it's that, I don't know, is that near the Bonaventure Hotel or something? I don't know. Where we can see down at the road below. But the fact this photographer, you know, made this color, I don't know, this blue, this gray blue, I don't know if it's all about the clarity or what, but the color is like very sort of abstract in itself. It's monochrome is what it is. It's almost like a black and white picture, but it's color. And you know, this frame looking through this gap in the street has created this, you know, this is all shadow, but the sun is shown down here where all these guys, you know, peel around and ruin their tires and stuff. And then this car here, and I can't quite see, it's like somebody's holding a flag or something. I'm not sure what's going on there, but the car's in the perfect position. It's not, you know, it's not in the middle. It's not down here getting covered up by this pipe, but it's just coming into the highlight. We don't know what's going on down here. It's all black and mysterious. And So we got a couple frames going on here at least. This round, big frame here, and then this mirrors this larger one, because we know that this gap is causing this highlight to fall into this shadowed area. So this is a pretty cool shot. Wide angle, I don't know, 24 millimeters, maybe 28. Just guessing. I got to go 10 on this one. So this is the, forgot the name of it, down by the Disney Center, the art gallery. And a lot of us shoot this picture from across the street. So this is nice graphics going on here. That you're using the architecture to create this negative space over here, the black all here. We don't need to see what's in here. Black is many times very good in both black and white photos and color photos. So it's not too saturated. The people are divided, they're framed between these two grass mounds. And the positioning of all the people is pretty, we call it gesture. It's when it's just sort of I don't know how to explain it, when the body is just doing something, or an animal or something's happening where you call it gesture, and it just seems right for some reason. So we got some pretty good gesture right here of these two little kids. But they're all, you can see there's space between them, and they're not covering each other up. This lady is covered up a little bit, and that's okay, no big deal. So they're framed by this black area, light against dark, dark against light, light against dark, dark against light. This is pretty successful, I think, too. 9, I guess. Is that it?
Yeah, Keith, actually, there's 2 pictures that somehow we missed. If
Really?
you go to the bottom of that frame, it shows you the numbers. If you can go to image 18.
Oh, I sure
There's
did.
one. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
There's another one missing.
Yeah, there's one more. There's also one number 32. But let's.
Okay, let me start with this one.
Yeah.
This is what can I say? Similar to the log picture or some of the others. This is a much better picture of the fact that this photographer has created depth by using this dock or whatever it is to look through at these people in the water and the sunset, and it's just this fabulous color and silhouettes, and you even see this guy over here in the smoke or whatever it is. This is a nice composition. So you're doing your work here. It's not like you stepped over here and said, oh, why do I want this in the picture, right? I just want a picture of outside that, I just want to get a picture of these swimmers or something. And maybe that'd be okay too. But the fact that you use this, it makes this all these little squares makes it a far more interesting picture. So again, we have another picture going on here. We have this picture going on here. This picture of, this guy, standing perfectly with the right gesture, right? He has this arm just in such a place. It's not like it's, something sticking out of his head or anything. It's a nice, simple gesture right in the sunset there, or sunrise or whatever it is. And then we have this picture over here with a tree and these people swimming in the water. I mean, this is another one of these pictures like, man, I wish I would have been here to see this, because it's so cool, the whole scene. Your technique is a little bit, I can't tell. It's not quite sharp or something, or maybe it's enlarged too big, something like that. But it's still a really strong picture, I think. I'd consider like that other picture, the one with the train and the doors. I don't think you need this up top. I think you could crop right along here. I think it'd be okay if this window was, you might take a look, you know, if we cropped it across the top, just so we could lose this, either that or make this all black, you know, get rid of that up here. 'Cause you don't need it up here, it's distracting. The picture is all down here, all down here. So this is a fabulous picture. I'd say 9 on this.
And the last picture is, I guess it's 33 or 32, I think.
This one,
Yes.
another train picture. You know, you've using the frame, reflecting on the Amtrak. These people are, I guess, reflecting from outside somewhere, looking, looks like they're looking at the train. And so that's successful in itself right here. And your focus is on the train itself. And we know these windows are kind of funky. So it's expected that it would be slightly blurred like that. This is a reflection. I don't think you need all this over here. I think you need to move in on this thing. You know, maybe we got these nice 3 windows on the left. I don't even know if you need Amtrak, because Amtrak just tells us what it is, and maybe we don't want to know what it is. Maybe you could, you know, crop in here like this. If the photographer's seeing what I'm doing, I don't, you know, I need to get closer in on this. And then it becomes much more of I think it has more mystery to it. As soon as we see Amtrak, we say, well, that's a train. But if we lose those words and come in on these 3 windows, you'll still leave some space over here. You don't need all this dead area over here. Leave some space, little bit of space, so it's even and down like that. I think you'll find a much stronger picture that way. 7.
Great.
Is that all of them?
That's all of them. So first of all, thank you for giving us your reviews and scores on these. A ton of great images.
Really, there are.
Got some great, and got some 10s in there, a bunch of 9s. And
Yeah, there's some really good stuff. I think it's overall really successful.
it was. And I'll be in touch with you regarding scoring first, second, third place. But thank you for that.
Okay.
At this point, everybody feel free now to chat, talk to the judge. Any questions about the images? Kindly keep yourself muted unless you have a question, whatever, and unmute yourself, and we'll go from there. But one more time, Keith, thank you so much for last month and this month. Really, really do appreciate it.
Who took the picture of the door on the train? Who? Nobody?
The blue door?
Yeah, the blue door.
Don't know.
Huh? Nobody? Huh? The mystery
Must
picture.
not be here.
I know we have a couple people who said they could not attend tonight.
Okay. I just was wondering where it was.
It looked
I really
like,
like the assignment. I came up with a ton of pictures, and I put 2 of them in that didn't score high, and that's okay. I really appreciated your evaluation of them, and it made me think outside of the box and inside the frame. So I really appreciate that. I enjoyed messing around with a lot of different ideas.
Well, which one was it?
The two that I did were, one was at the Van Gogh exhibit. There were a lot of really cool mirrors. So that prismy one that was towards the beginning that had people in different parts of the prism.
Oh, the prism one with all the shapes in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I took that with my phone. I hadn't submitted anything with my phone before, and that's why it was kind of posterized or whatever.
Right, right.
But it also felt right. I mean, just that it felt like that's the way it should have been anyway.
Well, the
If it
good
was
news is
crystal-
you're experimenting, you're thinking.
Yeah,
I mean, this is all a process, right? And,
Yeah.
It just keeps going and going, and we all sometimes get better ones one day than not, but if you're seeing stuff and you're working at it, that's the most important thing.
and by the way, that Van Gogh exhibit is fantastic. Really worth going down there and enjoying the whole audio-visual experience. It's amazing.
By the way, that blue train, the people of Myanmar, Burma, put the chalky stuff on their face.
Okay.
That you noticed, and it could be Burma, it could be Thailand. It would be right in that area of that part of Asia.
Man, I need to go there.
You don't want to go to Burma right now. Burma.
No, I don't.
I've spent 3 weeks there, and it's a wonderful experience. But that was when it was better. That was 2016. Right now, it's a mess, and I wouldn't go anywhere near it.
Yeah, I hear you. Has anybody been to Bhutan?
No.
No.
Well, I was in India, and in the hotel in India, the Prince of Bhutan had just gotten married and was on his honeymoon. And I met the interior minister who told me I really need to go to Bhutan, but I haven't taken him up on it yet.
Well, you have to, I have a guy that's trying to get me to take a tour group over there. And the guides they all get paid the same. So everything, everything is pretty much the same, but you have to spend X amount of money every day. That's the rule, but it's all the same cost no matter who you get. So, but it's a long ways to go.
I've had a couple of friends go, and they thought it was an extremely wonderful experience.
Yeah, and you need to bring on some oxygen with you because the altitude, it's way up there.
Hey Keith, I took the photo of the car down below.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
you were exactly right about where that was.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I just done a photo walk by myself that morning, and I was pretty much ready to go. And then I noticed that opening, and I'm like, oh my God, the sun is in a certain spot and it might actually be throwing a shadow down there. And right when I looked over the edge, there was this guy doing donuts down there, right?
Oh, he was doing donuts.
Yeah, I got some
Oh,
pictures of him doing that too. And he saw me taking the photos of him. And so he yelled up, he's like, can I get those? So I gave my phone number and we texted back and forth. And I ended up doing some really cool edits on him where I made his car look very good. So he put him on his Instagram, and it was kind of cool. Just a random encounter turned into a whole thing. So it was kind of fun. And then some of the people on his Instagram asked me if I would take photos of their cars.
There you go. Well, I think your treatment was really great on that. And it was like a pretty wide angle lens, right?
Yeah.
What kind of flag was he holding, Mike?
It was actually a flag of Mexico. And in some of the photos, it's kind of laid out, and that one, it just wasn't. And I was thinking I might try to replace it, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna let it go the way it is.
No, it's good.
Fantastic.
The cabin that you were wondering where that was,
Uh-huh.
that was in Bishop area between like Benton Hot Springs and Mono Lake. There's wild horses out there, and that's an old stagecoach station.
Huh. I've been out there, but I don't.
It's way out there.
There's two different roads off of that one. It's 120, and
Right.
and they're both of them. One takes you to that old stagecoach. At the end of that stagecoach road is that old broken down shack that I got some great photos of the way the light was hitting it. I'm just getting here, so I don't know what you said about it, but it was a great adventure with the wild horses and some of those old shacks. So, and you don't need 4-wheel drive to get out there. I mean, once you're off the road, I mean, you want a higher, you don't want to take a low car out there, but you don't need 4-wheel drive to get out to it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Who took the picture of the frames by the covered bridge? Are they here?
That was,
That was me, Doug Smith.
Doug Smith did it. You're responsible.
I'm responsible. So there was a couple of empty frames where you could see the painting behind those frames.
I see.
Yeah, and that's
Well, it's very tricky because to the eye, because I wasn't sure if that was. Now, did you Photoshop those in?
yes, I did.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, I shot those. I guess I shot those out in the backyard, the frames, and then cleaned it up a bit, and then put that into a bridge that's in Vermont. You know.
Well, that's you're thinking, so that's good.
I'd like to know who did the Headless Wonder shot and where that was.
The Headless Wonder, yeah.
The head and the Headless Wonder.
That was me. It's Norm Spieler.
Norm, I thought it'd be you.
Hi, Keith. That was shot in a building in Fillmore that was built by Sunkist in 1914 as a fruit for oranges. And it's turned into, I've gone through a bunch of owners, but it's turned into a place where there's a bunch of small businesses, and there's a guy who was a collector who collects Americana, and he has, I mean, it's a 40,000 square foot building. And this was outside his area. He does not let the public in there. I just happened to run into the building manager, whatever, who makes guitars. And he let me in, and I couldn't go in, but as I was walking down the hall, that painting was there, and I took that shot, but that was in a building in Fillmore.
That was wonderful.
So Norm, did you see the irony in it at
Yes,
first or later?
yes, yeah. I thought it was kind of funny.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I really love that photo. That was really good. It was clever, and there were frames within frames within frames all over there. It was really cool.
Kind of incredible stuff that it's not open to the public. I mean, the door happened to be open, and the stuff that's in there, it's just unbelievable. But he's a very private guy, and the guy, I said, can I go in and take pictures? He said, oh, if he even knows you're on the floor, he's going to be upset with me.
Norm, do you remember what street that was on in Fillmore?
It's off of A Street.
Okay.
Is it 126? You take off the 101 and you go through Santa Paula. And then you go down, I think it's C Street, B Street, then A Street, and you turn left.
Okay.
And you go down a couple blocks and you'll see this huge building. I shot stuff from the outside before. I happened to be there the week before, and I have a shot I almost submitted of a guy through the shipping and receiving, and I happened to run into the building manager, but I was leaving. But he said, oh, if you come back. And so I came back the following week, and again, waited for him, but he said, I'm busy, but I'll show you this. But anyway, that's where that building is. If you can find, the guy's name is Bruce, who's the building manager. And maybe he'll let you, kind of wander around. He makes apparently incredible guitars. He says he has a 2-year waiting list for his guitars.
You know his last name?
I don't. Yeah, he told me, and it was kind of like, yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Lloyd, I had a question for you too. Which Van Gogh exhibit? That's not the one that's in the Netherlands.
No.
You're
I know
talking
there's a
about
touring Van Gogh exhibit right now in Los Angeles.
It's at the old Amoeba Records place in Hollywood, and it's not his oil paintings. It's an audio-visual experience in essentially a warehouse kind of environment, but they have put together an amazing musical, the audio to go with it, and then they have the images of his works that morph into each other and tell us a
That's
story.
in the Netherlands. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So it's here.
Neat, thank you.
They have one in New York also. We're gonna be going on this Sunday to see it.
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun.
I was all ready to go the first Saturday and they canceled it because they didn't have their permits in order.
Oh dear.
So I have to reschedule.
Yep. So how many of you are, just a quick kind of show of hands, how many of you are interested in going to the Santa Monica Pier week from Saturday?
I hope we're gonna make it.
Okay. Well, good.
I have to talk to our newest club member and ask her and see what she says.
There you go. Talk to the boss.
That's me.